on the app? I just thought about that. And keep going. Never
Oh,
mind.
no, I didn't schedule it.
It is what it is. Come on.
Okay. Hey, Dr. Camila. Let me see if we are showing up on Facebook. Should be.
We are live on
There we
YouTube.
go. There we go. Oh, and there's Miss Helen. Hold on, Helen. Let me get you in here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So glad you're here. One.
Yes, sorry, I had to. So I'm just packing up.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello. Can
We
you?
see you. Can you see us?
Oh, no, I can't hear.
Well, we see you. Are you in the car, Helen? Okay, let me see. Huh.
Having a little technical difficulties, but we gonna get it going. We gonna get it going.
Okay. Um, it's not showing. I'm looking on Facebook. Hey, Facebook, we trying to get ourselves situated here. Oh, there we go. Okay.
I see it on your page.
I do now, yeah. Well, hello, hello, hello. We are going to have a conversation about. Oh, we lost Helen.
We lost Helen. I think her thing had
Oh,
kind of
okay.
froze, so maybe she gonna come back in.
Okay, well, if she comes back in, then we'll include her back into the conversation. But hello, Dr. Camila.
Hello, Dr. Irie. How are you today?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. I had back-to-back meetings today, and some of those meetings were with you. So we've had a busy Tuesday.
We've had a busy year, and it is only February. About to be
It-
March tomorrow.
oh my goodness, I just can't believe it. But I wanted to make sure that we had a good, hearty conversation about something we're about to kick off. It's our Harriet's Haven.
Yeah, we've been talking about this and planning on this for about a year now. Part of
Hmm.
our Pride ministry, and you want to tell them what Pride means?
Absolutely. Well, PRIDE stands for Positive Racial Identity Development and Embodiment for Black women and girls. And if you want to know more about our Pride ministry, I'm going to put the website in the chat so that you can do a Google search. I mean, do click the link and you go to our Pride for Black Women and Girls page where you can learn more about our Pride ministry. Um, I want to just share a little bit about the reason that that we even started the Pride Ministry, and it's because Black women and girls are challenged with surviving and thriving physically, emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually in social and religious environments that often do not value our blackness, which is why Pride was born, from the necessity to support the flourishing of Black women and girls who experience systemic discrimination, victimization, and exploitation due to the intersectional social categorizations of race, gender, and socioeconomics. I know that's a mouthful, but all that is what's happening in our society with Black women and girls. And
And
when
you
we,
said one important word. We want them to flourish.
yes, yes,
I think
absolutely.
we have Helen back.
Helen, are you here?
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can
Yes,
hear
let's see
you,
if we
but we
can.
can't see you, but we can hear you.
Yeah,
You don't
something is
see it?
happening with my phone.
Okay, well, as long as we can hear you,
I'm
that's
I'm
cool.
yeah, I'm in the car. I can hear you. I'm sitting still. So I'm not gonna touch it since I can hear you.
Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and at least get at least get 3 boxes there. So we'll have you in the rectangle. But we can hear
Okay.
you. We want to make sure that people can hear
Thank.
you. So Helen,
Oh, thank you.
did you hear our description of our pride ministry, positive racial identity
Yes.
element embodiment, right? And when we
Y-
say Black women and girls, we are talking about women and girls who are cisgender and who are LGBTQIA plus, and Black women and girls who are living with HIV, and Black women and girls who are survivors of trauma. Um, we
mhm.
want we want the coming together of all of us together.
Mhm.
And so, Helen, can you talk a little bit about why you think a group like this, or and we're calling our time together that we spend with each other, Liberate Her Circle,
Mhm.
right?
We didn't say who Helen was, though, Dr. Ira.
Oh
You
my
just
goodness, Helen,
we need
introduce
to let the
yourself.
people know who Helen is.
You're right. I'm just talking
Oh.
because I've
We
known her.
know Helen, but they
I,
don't know Helen.
yeah, I've known her for 25 years. So, who are you,
More,
Helen?
more than 25, Miss Harriet.
Oh, you know what? You're probably right. Because how old is your son? How old is Kumbo? Helen?
Think we
Did we
might have
lose?
lost her again.
Dang it. Okay,
Well,
well,
you start telling them who Helen is in a
I'll
little
tell
bit.
you.
So,
Helen is a community advocate who specifically works with women and teenage girls who are HIV positive. Helen, yeah, she's gone. Helen herself is a woman who is HIV positive, which is, and you know, it's no secret, right? She's out here in the community. She's an advocate. I met Helen when I worked in the field of HIV, and I was her first case manager, and and so we worked together for about 7 or 8 years. And then when I left the organization, Helen had gotten so uh, so involved in the advocacy
mm,
for persons living with HIV that when I left my position, I told the powers that be that Helen should have my job,
mm,
and they actually gave it to her. And so
mm.
she then became an advocate for the organization, which is called Brian's House. And we've done some stuff. Our church has
Yeah,
done
we
some stuff
have.
with Brian's House. And so Helen began working for Brian's House, and she has just flourished. And she has traveled all over the world, doing work around uh, um, HIV
HIV.
and AIDS advocacy, supporting women and girls who are living with HIV, and she's just a wonderful, wonderful person. I also had the honor of having her daughter in one of my groups at the organization, Brian's House. I worked in the adolescent. I was an adolescent program director, and so her daughter was one of the young women, well, teenagers at the time that I worked with, and now her daughter and son, both of them, are just doing great, and Helen is doing great. So Helen is going to join us in Harriet's Haven for our once a month Liberate Her circles.
Mhm.
So that's
And besides the Libera, so let's talk about some of the ideas for Harriet's Haven and where Harriet's Haven is. I love that beautiful sign behind us. But
yes,
let's tell the people, Dr. Irie, where is Harriet's Haven going to be located?
absolutely. Harriet's Haven is at the church where we actually have our worship services, and that's Northway Christian Church, 7202 West Northwest Highway in Dallas, Texas. And it's downstairs in the education building in the youth room. But we are converting it once a month to Harriet's Haven. And that, the sign that's like, let me see, that's right up there, that's actually our literal, real Harriet's Haven sign. that will be on display when we're meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where it is, and we're meeting there the last, isn't it, the last
Tuesday.
Tuesday of each month.
And what can a person expect? Like, okay, so if somebody said, okay, this Harriet's Haven stuff they're talking about, what could they expect if they came to our first Liberate Her Circle in March?
Well, the first one, we're going to have a meal. Not quite sure what the meal's going to be, but we're going to have
We gonna eat.
we gonna eat, y'all. We gonna eat, and we're gonna have conversation based on who comes. We're gonna have some conversation, and we're gonna do a lot of listening
Mm-hmm.
to the Black women who come, and and we're listening to them to see what their needs are, right? And we know that this is kind of different what we're doing, right? Because Helen, are you back?
I am back. It's just not gonna let me be great today.
Listen,
But we're gonna
it
be
can't
great
stop you
anyway.
from being great. It cannot stop you from being great. So I introduced you
Thank
already.
you.
um,
Thank you.
you're welcome. And we're talking a little bit about what people can expect when they come. Oh, let me put you back in. I'm just talking. Let me get you back in here.
Oh,
All right,
Bring her
boom.
on in the room.
I'm gonna bring her in the room. Okay, there she.
There she goes.
Yeah.
She got a little
my
spotlight and everything on her.
Uh-huh.
my apologies. My apologies.
No
Yeah.
Oh, it's
worries.
okay. So we're
Yeah.
talking about what women can expect if they or when they come to Harriet's Haven, particularly this first group, the meeting that we're going to have on the last Tuesday in March. That will be our first in-person meeting in Harriet's Haven. And I shared already that Harriet's Haven is going to be, our Liberate Her circle in Harriet's Haven is going to be for Black women, whether they're cisgender, whether they're LGBTQIA+, whether they're living with HIV and AIDS, whether they are survivors of trauma. All of us are meeting together. And one of the things I was going to say, Helen, is
Mhm.
that I know this is a little different because quite often you have these groups, like you may have a group of same gender loving people, they'll meet separately.
Mhm.
You'll have a group of women, Black women living with HIV, they'll meet separately. You have a group of women surviving trauma, they'll meet separately. But we're inviting all of us to meet together. And so, Helen, I want to ask you, what do you think about that? What do you think particularly, because I did share that you are a woman who's living with HIV,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
and you have been. And so why do you think that might be a good idea? Do you think that's a good idea for all of us to meet together, or what are your thoughts about that?
I think so too, because when we think about trauma, it doesn't matter whether it's HIV or not. People have gone through trauma, any kind of trauma in some kind of a way, and especially as Black women, we've gone through trauma. We might not have the same experiences, um, because it just comes up. It just comes up because I've sat in groups where it was only focused on people living with HIV, and then there were women there inside that group who are not living with HIV, and they said, "I am going through the same thing, except that I don't have HIV."
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it is a good idea if at some point, um, groups have to, if different types of situation where people have to separate, then they can separate at a different point. But at the beginning, I think trauma is trauma.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And that really means a lot to me to hear you say that, right?
Yeah,
Someone who is living with HIV,
yeah.
um, who is aware of all of the ways that being a Black woman, period, right,
Mm-hmm.
is the common denominator.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And we still have all these other intersections with our trauma that, in addition to being Black women, it may be some other ones that, but we all still having some different intersections that I think is a common ground for us to explore and work and
Exactly.
talk about.
Exactly, because if when you think about people with domestic violence, even
Yeah.
with them having have a certain situation where they were abused in the family or in their lifetime, that might have led them to get HIV because they were trying to escape.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because they were traumatized in the house or where whatever was going on. They ended up in a situation which led them into risk to getting HIV.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just the same to me. It is just the same, and I've seen it to be the same. And I think that it makes a difference to kind of combine people and separate it when it needs to. But at the beginning, if we are focusing on trauma, trauma is trauma, no matter what's going on
Mm-hmm.
with you.
Yeah.
And how we support each other across.
Exactly.
And
Those
that's,
Exactly.
that's a bigger thing. Like, we
yes,
know the stereotypes about Black women, right? Which
Right.
we know ain't necessarily true, but there is sisterhood violence. We recognize
that's
that.
right.
Right.
So trying to understand how we can really come together with all our different traumas and support one another,
Right.
um, to heal and flourish.
That's right.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I like that you use that word, that phrase, common ground, Dr. Camila, right?
Mhm.
Uh, because that is how we build community, right, with
Yeah.
one another,
Yeah.
focusing on the common ground, the things that
Right.
the similarities of experiences, right, that we have.
Right.
And there's so much in this world that tries to separate us and categorize us, right?
Mhm.
Exactly.
To keep us from working together, to keep us from supporting each
Mhm.
other.
Mhm.
And Helen, I don't live with HIV, but I
Mhm.
live with a whole bunch of other stuff. And you
Mhm.
over the years have supported me in so many
Mhm.
ways, and I have
Mhm.
supported you in so many ways. Um,
Yes.
and it just has made our relationship just so beautiful.
Right.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Right. And a lot of us Black women, we get into isolation because
Yeah.
of the stigma around it too. Because people always think we should be used to this.
mm,
Now that
ah,
right there, Helen.
Yeah, we
Woo!
should be used to
You
this.
should be
So
used to this.
yeah, so because that's what they say, we should be used to it, and we just stay in. We don't come out to say something. We don't come out to seek help because we expected to be used to it.
Yeah.
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 Well, and that makes me think about something else. It makes me think about this whole idea of shame, right? Shame
Yeah. And
around around anything that you've gone through as a Black woman
mm-hmm.
that may cause people to, or where people may look at you differently, or or
Mm-hmm.
or 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 not value you
Because
as. And so we have, go ahead, so we have this
I was
shame.
gonna say most of our trauma have come from it come in situations that are shrouded in shame, right? It's like
Mm-hmm.
most of the things we talk about that traumatize us, we have a hard time getting it because it's covered in shame. Like it's something that shouldn't have happened. We shouldn't have let it happen, or things like
Hmm.
that.
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I remember years ago when I was working very closely to women living with HIV, and I would often go out and speak on HIV and try to educate the community around the issue. And sometimes when I would bring people like Helen or other women with me, that they would share their story on the side. This is what people want to know: how did she get it?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like, what difference
Mm-hmm.
does it make? But it made a
Yeah.
difference to people. Like,
It,
did she get it through sex?
Mm-hmm.
Particularly if it's a religious organization, right? Or
or because
Mm-hmm.
through
we're
sex,
that's
where
been
she
taught a
shouldn't have
certain
been
way.
having sex.
Mm-hmm.
It's this judginess, this judginess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the minute that happens, then people don't want to come out. They don't want to come out. But the minute, like, that's why I don't. force anybody to disclose, but I do know what comfort it brings after you do. Because after you do, you are able now to express how you feel. You are able now to access the services that you really need. You are able now to find a person who really can hear you. Because if you are not, you can't even say it. Because of that same thing. That
And
same
so,
thing. How
and
did you
so,
get it? How?
so after you disclose, there's a sense of liberation.
Yes.
Because you're controlling your own story now.
Yes. Because
And
like for me, every time I am somewhere and I disclose about myself, somebody comes on the side.
Mm-hmm.
On the side, they're
On
like,
the side.
"Oh, let me tell you. Oh, my sister. Oh, my brother. Oh, myself. I'm HIV positive, but I don't tell people."
Yeah. Yeah.
On the side, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the stigma has a whole lot to do with it.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
It does. And I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and a lot, and Natasha, I'm looking at our YouTube. We were talking about the difference. When people said, how does she get it? The hierarchy of morality is what she put in there.
Come on,
And
Natasha, come on, legalese, please.
and that's, and that's what it is. But again, we got to come back to our beloved church and its responsibility in how this is playing out in people's lives, right?
Right.
And that's gonna have to be a big part of our conversation in the Liberate Her circle, because a lot of our shame, our stuff is tied to this toxic theology and these things that we've been handed.
And I'm glad you brought that up, Camila, because that's exactly where my mind was going. That one of the other aspects of the work that we're going to be doing and the support that we're going to be offering in our Liberator circles in Harriet's Haven is this reimagining theology, right? We're going to try, and that's going to be the part where Dr. Camila and I really put forth a lot of our work is deconstructing these toxic ways of thinking about scripture, about theology that have been so harmful to our people and to Black women in particular.
And not just deconstructing, because I'm very big on, we can't just deconstruct, we also have to reconstruct. So it's also not only just the reimagining of the theology, but reimagining of the self as you reconstruct your own healthy theology and your relationship with
So Helen, what do you think of some ways that Black women who are living with HIV, or Black women who may be LGBTQ, or Black women who've had trauma, have ways they've understood religious teachings that have been harmful?
Yeah, I think it's because a lot of people have left the church or don't consider talking to church folk because of being stigmatized. Because I remember, like, it happened. I can talk about my personal stuff. When I was in church, I used to go to one church one time, and I'm open about my HIV, but it's not like I just get up and talk about it. But we have to have a reason to talk about it. And one person just got up and said, "I want to pray for my brother, who has HIV." And I'm thinking, yes, somebody finally talking about HIV. But they continue saying, and this is in church. And they continue saying, by the way, my brother didn't get it through sex.
See? So it's that hierarchy of morality that Natasha was talking about. So he's a good HIV positive person, right? Because he didn't get it through sex.
Right. Yeah. And I'm like, is there categories for this thing?
Yes. In some people's religious teachings, there is. And that's what we have to do something about. And that's part of what we're going to be doing in Harriet's Haven. Yes.
Yeah. So since we're going to be like all together, people living with HIV and people who are just going through trauma itself. I, as the conversation gets to HIV, we can get deeper to it. But for us
Mm-hmm.
to be stuck on HIV, then that will take away from other people's traumas that are in the room.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
but
that's good.
it might be a teaching moment too. It might be a teaching moment too for other people. But we just want to balance it. We're talking about traumatized, and I do know that almost 100% of people who have HIV, they were traumatized in some kind of a way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Here's what we do know. We do know that from the research, right? One out of every three Black girls has
Mm.
experienced some kind of sexual victimization.
Yep.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter what room you go in. You
Yeah.
just know a good portion of the people in the room have experienced some kind of sexual
Yeah.
victimization, violation, molestation, something around,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Uh,
Mhm.
and not to mention all the other kinds of adverse childhood experiences that our
Right.
people experience, right? And
Right.
we don't want to necessarily focus on, yeah, we're going to talk about the trauma, but we're also going to talk about what I was on a call earlier today with Mama E.T. Harriet Toure, and she talked about the triumphs, right? So
Yes, that's there we
we
go.
want to talk about, yeah, we'll deal with that, but that's not where we want to stay. We want to talk about the
Mm-hmm.
triumphs. We want to talk about the ways in which we as Black women can support each other and help each other to triumph in whatever area of life, whatever issue that may be. You want to say something, Dr. Camila?
No, you said what I was thinking. You said it. That part, because that's very very important. We definitely have to go. Can't just stay with the trauma.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm really excited about this because you don't get in too many spaces where they
Mm-hmm.
include the word in this, because they
Mm-hmm.
just focus on hey, let's get you the services you need and all that stuff, but sometimes the services might be a good word.
Well,
That you need it.
now,
Come on now.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and
That you
yeah.
said something now, Helen. That
Sometimes the
true.
services, this might be a good word.
Uh-huh. A good word.
That's true.
Mm.
That's
All
true.
right.
I'm
Well,
excited about the community that
yeah.
can be built. From this, and yeah, I'm excited too, Helen. I'm excited.
I'm excited. Like I had a few people after uh, you have put up that flyer. I had shared it, and I think my daughter shared it, and people started uh, text. Hold on. Mm-hmm. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'm
Okay.
looking
Let
at
me
some of
let,
the
let me move.
comments.
Let me move the car a little bit.
Okay. I'm looking at
Mhm.
some of the comments, and I want to just kind of highlight some of them. Let me see. Our sister Danielle Dufault. She says, "Women
Yes, I
of all
saw
kinds
her.
with all experiences are welcome." Margaret, our therapist, is on here. Thank you. So important to expressly invite women of all kinds. Yes. Let me see. What else do we have?
And
Is
and
there
you
a
know.
rise? Oh, here's a
Mhm.
question. Is there from Olivia? Is there a rise in HIV among seniors 60 plus? The answer is yes.
Yes.
I absolutely did this research when we were
Yeah,
we were writing a grant, I think, or something for
yeah,
Harriet's
we were.
movement. And that is the fastest growing group right now. Black women over
Hmm.
60. That's right. That
I
is
just,
very
I just came back from where I'm coming from now, from Houston. We had
yes.
a conference, a summit. It's a Black Women's Healthy Initiatives, and we were talking about the same thing about people who are aging in HIV, and people don't think about that too. They don't
Yeah.
think about getting them the same outreach that we're doing to younger people. people, because
Absolutely.
people are thinking, they're thinking, oh,
Yeah.
they're older, they're not having sex, but they're having sex in those.
Okay. Excuse
See,
me.
that's that. There they go. People won't think you don't. They think the
Yeah,
kids don't have
they're
sex, but
thinking,
the
they're
old people
thinking.
don't have sex.
Yeah, they're not having sex. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, they're having sex, and I was gonna say, like, after we did put up that flyer, a lot of people were like, "Oh yeah, I need to join this. I need to come and attend this," and I'm thinking, "Oh, wow, there's people who are crying out for this."
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love the fact that this is happening in a church building,
Mm.
right? And pastors and two pastors are
Mm.
are facilitating this, are making space, are curating this safe and brave space for these
Mm-hmm.
congregations, because we have something, there's a different way that we could look at these things. And if we don't
Mhm.
Exactly.
if we don't
Mhm.
share, this different way, then
Mhm.
who will?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You are right about it.
And Helen, you know me, I love you, so I'm so happy to finally be able to partner with you on
You
some
see,
work.
God's timing after what, 20 something years.
Yep, yep.
I
That
am
is.
excited too. I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, listen, we're not going to keep you. We just wanted to come on and share a little bit with the community about Harriet's Haven and our Pride Ministry, positive racial identity development and embodiment for Black women and girls, and our Liberator support circles. And
Why
we,
is it called Harriet's Haven though? Did you tell
um,
the people
no,
that?
you tell them. You tell them.
No, I'm interviewing. You talking.
Oh, well, listen. I mean, I can't think of a more courageous, transformational
Mm-hmm.
liberator than Harriet Tubman.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's who Harriet's Haven is named after, right? It is because it is, that's right, Mama V, it is a hush harbor that will provide safe space for Black women and girls, but our Tuesday night group is going to be specifically for Black women. Um, that it's Harriet's Haven. It's
Mm-hmm.
Harriet, and that's who we are. That's the ancestor that we are calling on to guide us and to be there for us. And that's that's that on that.
That's it. I just wanted to make sure the people got all the information that they needed. Because you just pop up on a Tuesday night with a Harriet's Haven sign. They want to know what's
Well, who's
happening.
Harriet? Natasha Robinson says what you all are doing is realizing that the body is just as sacred as the soul. Yes,
That
Mm.
girl. That,
yes,
that girl there.
yes.
Mm.
That
Yes,
girl.
yes. All right. Well,
Hey,
listen, we will
thank
continue
you.
to advertise our March 20. Well, what day is that going to be? The 20th,
28th. March
28.
28th?
28th to Tuesday.
Yeah, and it will be in person, and we're going to figure out how to be in person and live stream it also for those who register. Are we going to do that?
Gonna be a close. Yeah, it's gonna be. It's not gonna be
Close.
like just open. Yeah, you'd have to register
You have to
because we want to
register.
make
That's
sure.
right.
And you got to show your face on the screen. It can't be just somebody. You
That's
can't
right.
come in the room and just show your picture. You got to be present with us. So
That,
that's what we're trying to
that's
make
right.
sure. Because when we say safe space, we want people to really feel like it's safe
Mhm.
Absolutely.
as best we can.
That's right. And it's going to be free,
Yeah.
and you're gonna have
Mhm.
to show your face. So
Right.
Hello.
yeah,
Put your face in the box or in the place.
that's
Right.
all right. Well, listen, Helen, welcome back to Dallas. I know you've been
Yes.
traveling a lot.
Yeah.
Dr. Camila, it's been a long day. We've had lots and lots of meetings, so let's
I
go.
gotta make one last announcement though, Dr. Ari, because
Let's go.
we are traveling to Austin on the 13th. If you are in the state of Texas, we are asking you all to meet us in Austin. If you're in Dallas, we have transportation from Dallas on that Monday from Fort Friendship West. We will be going once again, talking about Black women, centering Black women, because Black women are dying at extremely high rates giving birth in this state. It's one of the highest death maternal health states. So we are going to do a rally to raise awareness and to also advocate for some legislation to make it safer for Black women to live in this state. So not in just Black women, because we know when Black women have a safer space to live, everybody gonna have a safer space. But we're not just asking Black women to show up. We're asking anybody in the state of Texas who can meet us in Austin on the 13th to meet us there. More information is on our website and on our social media. You can scan the QR code to register. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Camila.